Welcome to another topic on the study of acid-base titration, and the topic is monoprotic acids. We are going to conduct another virtual lab experiment on monoprotic acids. Your web-based lecturer is Dr. Sam Okoli from Department of Chemistry, Federal Polytechnic, Nekede, Owerri. At the end of this lecture, if you like our YouTube lecture, it is good that you subscribe to it at the end of the program. Now, what is titration? Titrations provide methods of quantitatively measuring the concentration of an unknown solution in an acid-base titration. This is done by delivering a titrant of known concentration into an analyte of known volume. The concentration of an unknown titrant can also be determined by the titration with an analyte of known concentration and volume. Titration curves, for example, graphs of volumes versus pH, have characteristic shapes. The graph can be used to determine the strength of weakness of an acid or base. The equivalence points of the titrations of the points where the analyte has been completely consumed by the titrant is identified by the point where the pH changes rapidly over a small volume of titrant delivered. In this assignment, we will observe the titration curve by titrating strong acid of hydrochloric acid HCl with strong base sodium hydroxide. Now we are going to start the experiment by entering the virtual chem lab and selecting the study of acid-base titration from the list of experiments. Now watch me. The movement of the cursor. We are going to enter the stock room. Then go to the list of assignments. This is strong acid versus strong base. You click it. Then return to the main lab. When you return to the main lab, you now discover that this is HCl, this is sodium hydroxide. But in this case, the sodium hydroxide is in the burette and the acid, 25 ml of the acid, is in the beaker. Now, this is the indicator, bromocresol green. We have to open the lab book in order to start the experiment so that we can record our data. Then on the zoom menu, you save. Then start the experiment by clicking on the orange stop clock. Drop one after the other. Watch on the experiment. It is running. Keep on watching. Then you can stop slowly and let it start running drop by drop. Just be patient with the titration. This rough titration. You stop. There is a color change. You now know that in the first experiment there was a color change, and you can save your report. These are already some results on different types of experiments that we have already conducted in acid-base titration that is in the lab book. Now, if you now click the stop clock, if you now click on the save button, a blue data will now be recorded on the workbook, and this is data 5. If you click it, double click it, it will show you the result of our titration. This is the first experimental result. Now we are going to run a second experiment. If you check this, you will see the end point was about 25. Just watch on the result. About 27.50. We can regard this as rough titration. We are going to conduct another experiment and get an accurate result. You pour away this. There is an opening here where you pour out the experiment. You can start your second experiment again. Go to the stock room. Watch me. Go to the list of experiments. Select the experiment again. Return to the main lab. You have to repeat the experiment. Open the lab book is already open. Then you are going to run the titration now very fast. When it is up to 24, when the volume is up to 24 mils of sodium hydroxide in the borate, you stop. Remember, the HCl is in the beaker, We are titrating sodium hydroxide now against hydrochloric acid. Stop gradually. So this is one of the results too. You can also record it. But in actual fact, if you measure this thing correctly, you get the result from the database as in one of the experiments we've recorded as 24.90. Let's check experiment. Watch me. The result from the data viewer. So these are some of the results we obtained. You can calculate the average volume of the data, send it to a spreadsheet for analysis. So we can repeat several experiments on this acid-base titration until we get the accurate endpoint. These are some of the results we obtained. So this is one of the experiments on monoprotic acids. If you like our YouTube video, you can quietly subscribe to it. It is free. You can study chemistry free by subscribing to our YouTube video. We have several lectures on titrations that may be coming up every month.